What's up everybody, hope you're having a great time and welcome to today's video. If you are a little bit like I am, then you love hoarding all of those AMP simulation plugins, and I got a lot of them, both paid and free versions. But for a matter of fact, I've been thinking, how much does the AMP simulation actually contribute to the overall tone of a guitar? Now you might be thinking in the same way like I thought for many years that the AMP sim actually makes most of the tone, but you might be proven wrong. And that is exactly what I want to show you in today's video. In this video, we will take a look at one of the components which is often overlooked, but actually contributes the most to the guitar tone, and that is the impulse response. So what we will do is comparing a multitude of different AMP simulations, all using the same impulse response setup. And I'll promise you, you'll be quite surprised how similar those AMP simulations can sound like. Welcome back to today's video. Okay, before we now dive into the full-scale comparison between the different AMP simulations using the same cabinet section or using the same set of impulse responses, I first want to show you the exact setup which I have in Reaper over here so that you understand my ways of working and that you understand what's actually going on over here in the DAW. So, first of all, here I got the guitar as a mono track, which I can now play through as soon as we listen to the mix, just giving you kind of a first impression of what's going on before we then go into the, I would say, rather scientific comparison. Over here, demo, these tracks is where all the magic is happening. Let me make that a little bit bigger so that we can see what's going on over here. I got one guitar track only. I'm not using a dual track because I really want you to focus on the pure differences by the amp sim without any phase cancellation or something by dual guitar setups. So what I have over here is that I have a plethora of different amp simulations in one particular row going on. So they're all in the same effect chain. We got the Fortin Cali suite, we got the Omega Ampworks, and then we got the Archetype Gojira, all three from Neural DSP. And then followed by the STL Ignite Amphub, which has the 5153 amplifier loaded in. Then we're actually taking a few of the free amp simulations out there. We're going to take a look at Tourmafrost demo, from Vadim Taranov. Moving then over to the Ninja from Nalex, before we then move kind of to the absolute classic when it comes to free amp simulations out there, STL Ignites or STL Tones and Ignite amplifiers, Emissary. Now, all is being first pushed into NADIR or Nadir, where I'm using own hammer impulses based on Mesa Boogie traditional cabinet with V30s loaded, and I also made comparisons where I used the cabinet section of the Archetype Gojira. So I only got the cabinet section engaged over here, nothing else. The reason for this is that I personally find that the most outstanding factor of Archetype Gojira is, besides of course awesome amp, but the cabinet section, especially the Cab 3 is where it is, at least for me. So I made some full-scale comparisons between mixes using both either NADIR or Archetype Gojira cabinet section, and also guitar-only tracks. You'll hear them as soon as we play it a little bit through on this singular guitar track. Let me close this over here. Let me open over here the effects. And this is basically what it sounds like right now. So that's the 14 Cali suite. If I now move over here and click on this over here, when I now press Ctrl and B, I will toggle between the two plugins and you will see that this one is unchecked and the other one is therefore checked. Okay, let's go. Hang on, let me... Now there's a slight difference in the gain saturation over there, but not actually that much of a difference to fully justify a totally different amp simulation plugin, in my personal opinion. At least not when it only comes to mixing. Playing is a totally different thing. It has a different feel to it, yes, of course, but just from the tones, just judging from the tones, there's not that much of a difference. The Tourmafrost is where things are a little bit different from a feeling perspective. Yes, the Tourmafrost demo has its own feel to it, absolutely. However, if you slightly compensate for the volume loss, because that also makes a huge impact in the perceived difference of sound, then it actually comes closer to it. You'll listen to this in the full mix and in the guitar-only comparisons later on. And now let's compare, or let's just very quickly dive into what it sounds like when we use the Archetype Gojira instead. That's a little bit louder. You definitely can hear that it's way louder than it actually is with the Nat IRs and the Ownhammer impulses. Now, do you hear how much of a difference that makes? It's kind of like a new amplifier, and that's what I mean. The impulse response, or the cabinet section which you are using, has, in my personal opinion, much more of an impact on the sound than the actual amp simulation itself. However, we'll now roll over to the comparisons, and you might be the judge yourself. So now the question is at hand, where's your money actually best at? In my personal opinion, it makes way more sense to diverse a little bit into the world of impulse responses and try to find out what developer you like, what kind of concept you like most, what cabinet you like actually most, instead of shelving out your cash for amp simulation plugin after amp simulation plugin in the seek of searching for the holy grail of amp guitar tones out there. There are a lot of different free amp simulation plugins out there which are absolutely kick-ass. However, that said, do whatever you think is the right thing because only you can decide upon that one, and music is all about being actually free and expressing yourself. Whatever tools you need are the right tools for that. Nonetheless, I still hope that you found this video informative. If you liked it, please consider pressing that like button, subscribing to the channel, leaving it down below in the comments which sound you like best. If you actually share my impression that the cabinet impulses have way more of an impact on the sound of a guitar tone than the actual amp simulation plugin. I'll also put links in the video description down below to all the developers of the amp simulations and impulse responses which I used in this video, so that you can find the necessary plugins and impulse responses for the sounds you like the most. That said, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.